We got to talk donuts. Yesterday, I was working on exactly what it takes to get a donut with two different level 3 attributes in it so that we can stop wasting our berries and start making better donuts with some more informed constraints and breakpoints. And then Papa Hefe goes and drops this video. So I had made over 250 donuts with my trial, and thanks to Papa Hefe and the data that he supplied with his video, we've now added 511 donuts to this trial. So shout out to Papa Jefe if you're watching this, and if you guys are deep down in these annals of YouTube, go check out his stuff. He's worth a subscription. Let's be real, you've probably already heard of him if you're watching this. All right, so getting into the data, this first two columns here is the trials that I ran, with these latter columns being what the data that I got from Papa Jefe. So the data that I was looking at was the breakpoint here between 690 and 700, and seeing if we can get two different attributes at level 3 and what flavor score is required to hit that. And as we can see here, this is a pretty stark breakpoint between 690 and 700. Now, granted, the upper 95% confidence interval here at 690 does still leave some room that maybe you can get two attributes at level 3 with a 690 donut. But out of 74 trials, I saw 0, and this feels fairly confident that we can say that this is below the threshold. And even if it's not, this is such a stark difference that out of our 178 trials, 42 came up with two different attributes at level 3. So I think for all intents and purposes, we're going to argue, or at least I'm going to argue, that 700 is our floor if you are trying to get a donut with two different attributes of the same flavor score at level 3. And now, thanks to Papa Jefe for adding an additional 511 trials to this data set, we can look at the 720 and see that it performs essentially identically to the 700. So if you can get yourself to the 700 flavor score, you're wasting flavor getting up to 720. And a lot of people might be asking, but what does it matter? A lot of these berries that have the 95 flavor in a primary are very bad when it comes to things like level boost and calories. And these are things that you want to optimize for. You want to get the donut with the attributes that you want with the most calories available to spend more time in hyperspace and the biggest level boost that you can get. So when you do get to those 5-star zones, you're not dramatically under leveled trying to take down these level 200 shiny alphas that you might be hunting. So we want to optimize for what is the minimum flavor score that we can get the donut that we want, and then out of that, how do we maximize the calories and the levels that we get? So now coming all the way over here, we do see a higher strike rate of two attribute level 3 donuts when we get to a flavor score of 760. So if you are just looking at getting the donut and spending as little time in front of Ansha as possible, 760 is going to be your go-to number. Can we do better? If we come over here to the 750 and 730, we see we don't have a lot of data in here. I'm going to fix that. All right, since we know that 760 is the highest breakpoint, we're just going to work our way backwards. We're going to start with a 750 donut. So to do that, we're going to come in here to Ansha. We're going to use a 1 chillin' donut, followed by, where it is, 7 colas. And we are just going to get to making donuts. I'm going to go clean up, and then we can go over the data. All right, 42 donuts later, we're starting to see something interesting happening, and I'm going to save myself the headache of going much further. So at 750, we are starting to converge around 25%, which is the same as our 700 and our 720. We're going to ignore the 730 right now. This feels like just kind of low sample size variance right now, but this confidence interval does still contain 20%, which is well represented inside our 700 to 750 range. But for the sake of the argument, let's focus on the 700 to 750 range that's got a little bit more of a sample. So out of all of these, we are seeing a very clear break from the 760. 760 looks like it's getting closer to 1 in 3 donuts that is coming out with the two attributes at level 3, whereas the 700 to 750 range looks like it's 1 in 4 donuts. So if you're purely looking for minimizing the time in front of Ayantia, there does seem to be some statistically significant findings saying just do the 8 Quesid berries, do the 8 Tanga berries, or whatever flavor profile you're looking for. Focus on maxing that out, and you are going to get your donut of choice with the fewest number of rerolls. But if you are trying to min max like the psychopaths that are looking for shiny alphas, um, you really don't want to go any higher than 700. 700 to 750 all looks like it's performing the exact same and getting you the donut that you want, but you are sacrificing things like calories and level boosts for flavor. Okay, so knowing this, what should we be doing for recipes? I've got you covered. Luckily, this math comes out really clean, and the solution for every single donut is to get 2 berries of the 95 stat that you're looking for, followed by 6 of the 85 stat you're looking for. So for example, spicy is going to be 2 Koba berries, and then 6 chillin berries. As we see, this maxes out our spicy to 700 and gives us a bitter score of 410 while maximizing our level boost and our donut energy. So the total calories that we get out of this donut lets us stay in hyperspace longer, and we still get to take the benefit of rolling 2 level 3 stats of our primary type. And with that secondary typing being over 200, we can even get a level 2 stat of that donut. For bitter, we're going to look for 2 Charties, followed by 6 Vabiri. Fresh is going to be 2 Pyappa, followed by 6 Colbur. And because I'm a shiny hunting fanatic, I did not have enough Haban berries to make or to show the making of a donut for this video. But just to show the ones that I do have in my inventory, you'd get 93 level bonus with 4,200 calories. Unfortunately, with the Tangas being so weak, you can't quite get to the plus 100, so you're always going to be under-leveled in those 5-star hyperspace zones. But looking at something like this, that's going to get you the potentials for 2 level 3 sweets, and then a level 2 encounter. So I've got this one here that actually came out with a level 3 sweet, a level 3 fresh, and a level 2 sweets. So these ones do tend to roll. You have the opportunity of getting a level 3 fresh, not necessarily just isolated to the level 3 sweets, but you are still able to roll the level 3 sweets with these. Something else that I forgot to touch on earlier when we were going over the data, the reason that I had so many more trials at 700 than 690 is because I ran trials at every single one of the flavors to isolate whether or not flavor played any difference or if it was just the flavor score. You can see that in the data linked below, but flavor did not impact. All of the flavors, as long as they hit 700, were able to hit that 2 attributes at level 3. None of them at 690, and they did not behave any differently. The only one that behaves slightly differently is the sweet, and I think that has to do more with the sparkling power than the sweet itself. Sparkling power seems to show up as level 1, 2, and 3 a lot more often than anything like the catching power, resist power, move power, any of those other attributes that you're going to get from the donuts. So I would say there's more of a deep dive that we can be doing on sweet donuts, but for the sake of this exercise, 700, regardless of flavor, was the clear breakpoint if you are looking for 2 attributes, both at level 3. Well, this one took a bit of a detour from where I was originally planning to go, but I think this was all really good content. I'm going to link my data in the description below. I'm also going to put a link to Papa Jefe's video, which has a link to his data as well. And let's keep experimenting. Let's keep finding what are the best donuts that we need to be making for all of the different use cases. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and leave me a comment below letting me know what you think we need to be experimenting on next. Catch you in the next one.